Cheers and welcome back to Wack Reviews. I am Thor Wackinson, and I'll be speaking to you about a movie you may have guessed already. Going to be talking about Thor Ragnarok, the next in line of the MCU movies. Going to be talking fairly in depth about the movie Thor Ragnarok. There will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie and you'd like to see it, then maybe don't watch this one until you have. So spoiler warning. I'm going to be talking about most of the things that happen in the movie and giving my thoughts and opinions at the end, as well as some silly bloopers and outtakes and such at the end, like I like to do. So let's dive right into it, shall we? So the movie begins with Thor in a place that resembles hell, and he's in a cage, and he falls out of the cage and unravels into some chains, and he's just sort of hanging there, and he talks to this beastly looking creature. We find out his Sartor, his plan for Ragnarok. Apparently Thor has been captured on purpose, and he's wanting to know what Sartor's plan is, and Sartor's plan is to start Ragnarok, which basically means he would use his little crown thing, put it in the eternal flame, and then he would grow to the size of a mountain and jam his sword into Asgard and destroy Asgard for good. Ragnarok. There's some funny moments where Thor is hanging there in the chains, and he's sort of turning around, and he's like, wait, I'll be right back with you in a moment, and sort of some silly stuff, and he calls for Mjolnir. And he battles all these little demons. He tosses Mjolnir, and it goes around in a circle, and it gets a bunch of the bad guys, and he tosses it out, and it comes back, and he nails more of the bad zombie demon-looking things. Thor manages to knock the crown off of Sartor's head and puts it on his back and gets out of there. He's chased by a dragon, a really cool looking dragon that has like fire for wings. It almost has like rocket jets coming out of the back of this dragon thing. As he's being chased by the dragon, he calls the Rainbow Bridge to take him back to Asgard, and it sort of takes the dragon's head with it, and we find out that Heimdall has been replaced by some other goofy guy, Carl Urban character, I think. Thor realizes that Heimdall's been replaced. He goes straight to Odin's castle and finds Odin there, watching a play about the death of Loki, when Loki supposedly died on the Dark World in the Dark World movie. And it's a big tragic scene, and like Loki's a heroic guy, and Odin's like, yes, good job everyone. But it turns out Odin the whole time, it was just Loki pretending to be Odin. He wasn't dead, of course he wasn't dead. But it's kind of silly. There's Matt Damon, I believe, is playing Loki or Thor, I can't remember, in that scene, but it's kind of funny. And he threatens Loki to tell him where Odin has gone. Odin has been banished by Loki to Midgard, which is Earth. In order to find out exactly where Odin has gone, they go to see Dr. Stephen Strange, pours him a beer, big old fat beer, and he keeps magicking more beer into his cup. Dr. Strange basically tells him that if he tells him where Odin is, you guys will get out of here and stop bothering us, and you shouldn't be here on Earth. You and Loki are Loki's a bad guy, and we don't want him here. And it turns out Doctor Strange has put Loki in a time loop kind of thing, where he just keeps falling. And so he's apparently been falling in this other dimension for about 30 minutes or something, which is also a kind of funny thing. And Loki's like, oh, you think you're some sort of sorcerer, are you wizard? Well, I'll show you some sorcery. And then Doctor Strange is like, boop, get out of here, sends a portal. They go to where Odin is and have a chat with Odin. Odin says he's dying, and when he dies, their sister Hela, the firstborn of Odin's family, Hela will be free. He has imprisoned her away because she's too dangerous, and as soon as Odin dies, Hela is free, and she comes out of this creepy portal, and they try to attack her. Thor grabs Mjolnir, and he throws it at her, and she just sort of grabs it and just crushes it, destroys Mjolnir. They are transported to Asgard, but she's in the transport Rainbow Bridge thing with them, and they're still fighting while they're being, launched to Asgard, and she knocks both of them away, and so she's on her way to Asgard. When Hela arrives on Asgard, she uses these necro blades, as they're called, I found out recently, to just basically just black blades of hell that just appear in her hands, and she just can throw them around. She dispatches of the warriors, and so basically she's able to take the whole armies down by herself. And we find out that Thor has landed on this weird trash planet. There's just trash dumping out of the sky onto this planet, and we find out the planet's called Sakaar. Hela makes the new goofball Heimdall guy her minion, the replacement Heimdall guy, the goofball Karl Urban. While on the trash planet, this tribe tries to come and kill him, to eat him or something, but a ship arrives and takes them out, and a woman walks out. She takes Thor prisoner. They go to this big fancy tower on the trash planet, and there's some Easter eggs on the building. Beta Ray Bill, his face is there, and you see Hulk's face, I believe, being constructed, and a couple other faces. I'm not sure what those are. Beta Ray Bill was the other person from the comics that ended up being worthy of Mjolnir. Hela is on Asgard, and she's just destroying everyone, killing whole armies by herself. Heimdall manages to sneak into the whatever chamber and steal the sword that causes the bridge back and forth. When Thor is taken to this giant tower thing, he's placed in a chair, and he's locked into this chair, and it takes him through this funny little portal that's playing, like, it's playing a Willy Wonka theme, like one of the songs from Willy Wonka. It's basically telling him that you're a prisoner of Sakaar, and you're about to meet the Grandmaster, so, buckle up. And then it just, like, shows him a bunch of crazy shit, and he's like, ah! But then he just shows up, and he's just in this chamber, and the Grandmaster is there, and it's Jeff Goldblum. Goofy-looking Jeff Goldblum. And he's a very eccentric leader of them, and he's a party guy, and he's silly, and he uses this weird stick with an orb on it to melt someone to show his power. He finds out that Loki is there also. Somehow they managed to be on the same planet. Loki's there, and he's thrown in a dungeon into a cell with a big rock man named Korg, who was played by Taika Waititi. Very, very funny character. Very, very funny. I enjoy that character quite a bit. He's like, I'm the big rock man, pile of rocks over here. And this here's Meek. And he meets a little guy named Meek. And it's a little bug man with like knives for hands or whatever. But basically, he's going to be a gladiator in a tournament that the Grandmaster holds. Hela walks into the halls of Odin's chamber, and she destroys the ceiling and reveals that there's a big mural, a big painting of her and Odin making a conquest of the other realms, and she was Odin's right-hand woman, the executioner. He used her to, destroy planets or destroy realms and take them over. Odin had painted over that because it's bad history that he doesn't want people to know about. She goes down into the basement of the castle, and there are lots of relics. And I think the Tesseract might be there, but the Infinity Gauntlet, there is one there, and she says it's fake, and she pushes it over. It's a kind of a goofy, silly little Easter eggy type thing. It's not the real Infinity Gauntlet. She finds the Eternal Flame, and she takes a bit of it in her hand, and does a little magic thingy that awakens all these old Asgardian soldiers that are now sort of zombies, slaves to her, and it also awakens a giant wolf named Fenrir. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Fenrir. Thor is talking about losing his hammer to Korg, and it's a very funny interaction. Thor's like, I lost my hammer yesterday, and it stings, it's very, very fresh and very painful to have lost my hammer. And he's like, so it seems like the hammer was sort of like a romantic, like a lover to you, or like losing the hammer was actually like losing a lover or something. And he's like, no, it's not like that. And I would throw the hammer and it would pull me off the ground. And he's like, whoa, the hammer pulled you off. It's very silly. I love the Korg character, Taika Waititi. We find out that the woman that captured him She's always drunk because she's trying to forget her past because she was a Valkyrie. She was one of the Asgardian Valkyries who fought against Hela, and she was the last one that survived. The rest of them were killed by her crazy sword thingies. Thor is taken to a place where we get our Stan Lee cameo, and Stan Lee has a crazy robotic hand that's gonna, like, cut his hair, and he's like, don't you dare cut my hair, whatever. But they cut his hair anyway, and it's kind of goofy, a little Stan Lee cameo. Of course, we love those. So after he gets his hair cut, they put some armor on him and give him some weapons and send him out into this big stadium full of crazy crowds, and the Grand Master is presenting, like, these are my finest warriors are going to battle for your enjoyment. Woo! When it's Thor's turn to fight, he's up against the Grand Master's greatest champion, and it turns out to be the Incredible Hulk. And Thor is like, yes! He's a friend from work! But Hulk isn't his friend, and they have a big, awesome battle, and he keeps calling him Banner. He's like, Banner, it's good to see you. And he's like, no Banner, only Hulk. Apparently Banner's not in control anymore. It's all Hulk. Hulk is pounding him into the ground, and somehow Thor's able to bring out this crazy lightning punch, special lightning punch that we thought he needed the hammer, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's got special secret hidden abilities. The Grand Master stops the fight before Hulk can get beat. Find out that Heimdall has a lot of Asgardians that he's been keeping in a secret special place. He's been keeping them safe away from Hela on Asgard. Hulk is basically just in charge now. Banner is lost in his mind somewhere, and Hulk likes being there. Everybody loves him. He's a big champion, and everybody's, he's sort of a big baby, actually. Hulk is just sort of, he's sort of pouty and sort of silly. He's kind of a big green baby. But he likes all the admiration from people on Sakaar. And he tells a story about how he got there. He had left after the Ultron movie, left on a Quinjet, and was flying out into space, and somehow the coordinates got messed up, and he ended up landing on this planet. Thor is trying to escape Sakaar, and he brings Hulk with him, because they know where the Quinjet is, and they go into the jet, and they see a recording on the screen of Black Widow, and the seeing Black Widow turns the Hulk back to Bruce Banner because they were sort of in love. Apparently Bruce Banner's been the Hulk for 2 years, and he was just sort of trapped inside. Somehow they're able to get Loki to work with them to escape the planet. When they get the ship in the air, they get discovered, and there's a big plane chase scene that's kind of cool, jumping from plane to plane and shooting each other. And he presses a button, and it causes a bunch of fireworks and goofy, music to happen, because it was like the party plane for the Grandmaster. They're able to take the jet and escape the plane chase and go up into where the trash has been falling, and it turns out that's a portal, and it leads them off the planet and away from there, so they're headed towards Asgard. Heimdall and his people are trying to escape in a ship away from Hela, but Hela's got her army of zombies and her big wolf, Thor and Valkyrie and Loki and the Hulk all show up there to help them fight and escape. Bruce Banner takes a big jump out of the ship down onto the Rainbow Bridge where they're trying to escape from, and he's expecting that he's going to turn into the Hulk, but he just sort of smashes into the bridge. And it's sort of a silly scene. Hela is fighting with Thor, and she's stronger than him and better somehow, and she beats him, and she cuts his eye, and so now he's missing an eye. They did this interesting thing that they do sometimes where in the advertisements and trailers for the movie, they show things that aren't in the movie. That way they're a surprise, and the eye is one of those things. In the trailer, he has both eyes, and in the movie, he has lost an eye because they didn't want us to know that part. The Hulk finally does arrive. He turns into the Hulk, and he battles with the giant wolf Fenrir, and it's a very cool fight between Hulk and the wolf. And then there's the people versus the zombie Asgardians. They're trying to get all the Asgardians onto a ship to get them out of there, but they're having trouble because Hela's puts a spike through the ship so it can't leave. Thor hears Odin's voice in his head telling him, the power inside you didn't come from the hammer. It came from you. It was your true power. The hammer just helped you focus it. So he gets his full godly electric thunder power, and it's amazing. The power of the god of thunder, bitch. Pretty sure that's when they play the immigrant song Led Zeppelin. Ah! And that's when he starts kicking ass. He's using all of his fucking god powers and his electricity and just barrel rolling through them with electric power and lightning. Fucking awesome. So the Hulk and Valkyrie and Loki and Thor are all battling and fighting their way through all these zombie creatures, trying to get everyone to the ship and escape. They realize that Sartor is actually the answer to deal with Hela. Letting Ragnarok happen is the only way to defeat Hela and for them to get away from there. So one of them puts the crown, the Sartor's crown, into the eternal flame, makes him a giant, and he starts destroying Asgard, and Hela's trying to fight him, but he's way too big and powerful, and he jabs the sword down and sends him back into the pits of hell. Karl Urban has found these big machine guns from Earth, and he's using the guns to get all the zombie guys. The Asgardians manage to escape on the ship finally, and Asgard is destroyed. But Asgard is not a place, it's a people. Meek and Korg are also with them on the ship and manage to escape. There's funny little banter with them, of course. I like those characters. Korg is amazing. And that's the movie. There is a mid-credits scene where a big ship pulls up right where theirs is, and I think if you did your research, you would realize that was Thanos' ship, so something big is about to happen. And then there is a post-credits scene where the Grandmaster is approached by some of the tribes on Sakaar, and he's like, "Hey guys, we did it. We did a good job. Couldn't have done it without you or whatever." And they're like pissed off at him. And that is the full movie. I like it very, very much. Very fun, very funny. One of the funnier Marvel MCU movies that there are. Special effects are amazing. Actors are amazing. All the direction. I think Taika Waititi actually directed this one or helped write it or something. And he's very fun, very interesting. And I'm a big fan. This is way up there for me as far as MCU movies go. Very, very, very good, very fun. A lot of action, a lot of laughter. Interesting music choices, a lot of weird synth music, and there's not really much for me to gripe about. It's one of my favorites out of all of these. So I would recommend it. High recommend from me if you're interested in checking it out, or if you've already seen it, and hopefully you had a good time listening to me chat about like a goofball with my silly taped up hammer, which hopefully I won't have to use again for a while. He throws it, and then it comes right back to him. Don't worry about the tape, no big deal, nothing to see here, nothing taped up, nothing boxy and weird about this at all. Nothing at all. It's definitely the same size and shape as the other one. Definitely that one. Oh, you shouldn't. Yeah, I really shouldn't show people my armpit hair. That's not a great look. This was actually the least horrible wig. Mama Wack helped me with the costume a little bit. I know it's goofy looking, but it's meant to be, it's all homemade shit. This is actually my karate belt, one of my karate belts from when I was a kid. These are gluten-free pans for the gluten-free pizzas at my job. I just sort of cut them, and just some fabric that's all kind of just pinned on here. And the wig actually wasn't so bad this time, because it was sort of, oh, that looks bad. But it was like at least behind the ears and sort of out of my face and off my ears, so that was not quite so bad. Almost looks like a Trump hair. It's gonna be tremendous. The best god of thunder. You see, when it comes to thunder, nobody actually is better than me at thunder. Tremendous. I walked in a room and people are like, "Dang, that's great thunder. What a tremendous thunder." It's the best and biggest and brightest thunder you've ever seen. It's actually lightning and not thunder. Fucking Little Dork Riding Hood or some shit. This is dumb. Boobs. Now I got boobs. Now I'm a redhead with silver boobies. Where I will tell you. Okay, fuck. Asgard beer. Fuck, let me start over. Interesting side note, if anybody didn't realize, Sartor is where we get the word Saturday. It's Thor's day, Frigga's day, Frigga was his mother, Sartor's day. And Wednesday's Odin's day, that's why there's a D in it. Wednesday. 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 As he's being fucking... Another? You say, you stay. I only hear what I want to. I only hear what I want to. She basically says Ragnarok is coming, and I'm going to be in charge of Asgard. I don't fucking remember. And it's Henry, but it's like Fenrir. It's Fenrir. Thor and Korg. Korg and Thor. It's a freaking Korg and Thor. Another. We find out that the woman that captured him. We find out that the woman that. So then he gets a haircut, and I don't have to wear this fucking thing anymore. Woo! And jump. They're trying to get all the rest of the Asgardians. Fuck! Hit my microphone. That's stupid.